Trey, Radel, your host of The Drive here. There is something that's really appalling that's happening right now within the Democrat Party and the way that they are coalescing around a very specific set of talking points in order to utilize the overturning of Roe v. Wade politically. They want to utilize Roe v. Wade to help really kind of, at minimum, stave off some of the massive losses that they're probably looking at this November in terms of losses in the House and the United States Senate. And they believe that since they don't have what I would call kitchen table issues like gas and groceries to run on, the economy and more, they're going to utilize Roe v. Wade and the overturning of it to paint not just Republicans as terrible people, but, and this is where it gets really sinister, people who have invested their lives in helping young women who are pregnant, or really women of all ages who have what is sometimes referred to as a crisis pregnancy. They are making these people who devote their lives to helping others as villains. Take a listen to this. This is Senator Elizabeth Warren, who I am no fan of, and you'll get a flavor of what she's doing, what she's saying. And then we're going to have a guest on who's local here in Southwest Florida that runs what's called the Community Pregnancy Clinics, and we'll talk with him about this. Take a listen.
Senator Warren also taking aim at pregnancy crisis centers.
Here in Massachusetts, these so-called crisis pregnancy centers outnumber genuine abortion clinics by 3 to 1.
She says women walk into the centers believing they'll get abortions. Instead, they try to talk women out of it. She calls it a bait and switch.
They are giving it over to people who wish them harm, and that has to stop. We need to put a stop to that in Massachusetts right now.
I cannot. I hear this woman's voice, and it makes me agitated. But I just want to take a second before we get to our guest to break down what she's doing. First of all, what she's saying is that these places that can educate and help give aid to people who do not want to abort their child are the problem. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that these places that might suggest something radical like adoption are outnumber abortion clinics. The other thing to note in all of this is how Democrats are very much utilizing the word abortion over and over. I don't know what they're thinking in terms of messaging. I digress. Here's the other part. People walk into them and it's a bait and switch. So in other words, people are dumb. And she says that these places want to hurt them. So to set the record straight and talk about what these organizations do, these 501c3s, charities across the nation, including this one here in Southwest Florida, Community Pregnancy Clinics, we've got with us Scott Baier, who is the CEO of this. And Scott, I want to thank you for your time this evening. You're in the thick of it, hearing the rhetoric surrounding places like what you do. And I would imagine that you probably have seen some of the blowback on TV and more. Scott, if I could, I'd like to get right to it. Can you just tell us what community pregnancy clinics do? What do you do there?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a great opportunity just to share the good stuff that we're doing. And the reality is we've been doing this now for 50 years. We've been around since 1974. There are 2,700 crisis pregnancy clinics is the classification name that you can use that have been helping women for, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, and maybe millions of women. So this idea that Elizabeth Warren, I challenge all of these people who are using the talking points, have they ever stepped foot into one of our clinics? Of course not, right? And so the reality is what we're providing is something the other side's not, right? They are abortion-focused, so they're offering abortion. We, on the other hand, will offer free pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, STI testing, 3 years of material assistance for 3 years for a woman who has the baby, referral services. See, most women don't know what's available to them, in their own communities, and we're offering them the options. We are, I say this lightly, we're the real choice organization, that we're offering real choices medically accurate information. And I would spend some time in the military, and so I know what tunnel vision is. These women often have tunnel vision. They're in a crisis situation. Sometimes pressure is there, right, from a partner. I say from partners, parents sometimes, or pimps. The three Ps are there. So you have women being pressured, and then here we are walking with them with mercy and compassion, offering opportunities for them to say, you know what, I think I can have this baby, if that's, hopefully what they choose. But we're here to walk with them, not to force something down their throats that, just frankly, the other side's doing all the time. And we have clients that come to us who have been to, say, a Planned Parenthood, and the experience, you can ask them, vastly different what they're experiencing as they walk through our doors.
Scott, you used a word there that's caught all of our attention, all of our eyebrows shot up, the word pimp, which look, in popular culture, hip-hop culture, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like how we kind of glorify people who are actually murderers, like Al Capone and more. What you're referring to, though, in a very harsh and matter-of-fact way, is that, women will come to you. There might be this this predisposition thinking, well, it must just be a bunch of teen girls that got a little, did some of this and that. But I would imagine that you're dealing with women who are active prostitutes, maybe women who have been. Am I going too far by saying, have you ever dealt with people who've been raped?
Absolutely. No, Drew, I hate to say that we see it all the time. The reality is we know human trafficking, right, is on the rise. It's a reality. It's around our corner, right? It's not out there somewhere. It's in our own community. So, of course, we have women who come to us. Often, that's not openly spoken, but here's what we're offering. We're offering the counseling. We're offering the mentorship, which allows us to form relationships with these women. And, if it's a situation where we see right away where this is not a healthy situation, then we're going to try to assist them to get out of that situation. Right. But often, we're seeing, I would say, a substantial number of women who are feeling pressure of some way. Now, most women have 80% or more. It's for financial pressure, right? That's that tunnel vision. They just don't see how they can have a baby without some kind of support, whether it's material support, whether it's assistance with job placements and so forth. Then you have the other percentage of women who are doing it just frankly for it's more convenient, right? I have my career, I have my education to further. All right, we can allow them to kind of process that and see how they can still have a baby and not lose those things, right? And then that fortunately smaller percentage, but significant, are the ones that are under direct pressure from, and again, that what I grew up in the 80s, so the word pimp there, but
I'm with you, man. That's why I send it back out. Yeah.
Exactly. These are human traffickers who are forcing abortion on their victims. Yep. Now, this also brings up the reality, we can maybe talk about it in the future, but the reality of chemical abortion, with Roe being overturned, chemical abortion, which is now going to be, the left's going to call it it's contraception. It's just glorified contraception. This is a harmful drug that's being given to women, and it's 1 in 5 are having complications. There's been 24 deaths. I mean, you could go to thisischemicalabortion.com to get the full picture. This is going to be the norm, but we know of again, trafficking perpetrators who are putting the pill into the water or the drinks of their victims. We have partners who are giving it to their to the women who want them to have an abortion. It's a horrific reality. It's something we're educating women on, right? Because there are complications and challenges that go along with the chemical abortion pill, which could be dangerous to the woman's health, obviously. And here's the Biden administration who took away the REMS protocols, the risk evaluation mitigation strategy. There are only 26 drugs that have been classified that need REMS protocols. RU486 is one of those. But here we are now. Well, this is remove those restrictions and let's do death by mail. So the reality is horrifying when you get down again into the world I'm living in on the ground floor of what's happening.
Scott Baier on the line with us right now with Community Pregnancy Clinics. So you're based here in Southwest Florida, but you have clinics throughout the state, correct?
Yeah, we have 2 in Naples, 1 in Fort Myers, 1 in Sarasota, and 1 at the University of Florida right on the campus of the Gators in Gainesville.
If you are interested in learning more, you can go to communitypregnancyclinic.com. I will also share this, though, for you listening. Look, this is a 501c3, and 501c3s are dependent upon contributions. And if you are interested in learning more and perhaps supporting them, you could go to support CPCI. That's CPCI, supportcpci.com. To support community pregnancy clinics. Scott, let's sort of go through a woman coming to you, and they come to the clinic. Is it like, help me out here in understanding the basic process? Is it, I understand the educational facets of it. But do you just basically lay out like, look, you can keep the child and live with the child and raise the child. Adoption is also an option. Is that something else that you will entertain as a possibility? And then through that, when you've got someone who can't afford to, to barely pay their rent, and now to live a healthy lifestyle as a pregnant woman, do you also, when you go through presenting those options, do you also supply aid for them to be able to just kind of live daily life and live a healthy life?
Absolutely. I could tell you story after story of women in the specific, needs that they had. We had one couple who said, you know what, we already have 2 kids. We can't fit another kid in the car. We said, what if we got you a used car? We'll have the baby. And it gets down to that kind of, again, tunnel vision is one of those things that, but in terms of like when we walk through our doors, you're right. There's only 3 options. Either you have the baby, you can offer up the baby for adoption, or there's abortion, and we're going to educate them on all 3 of those, again, with medically accurate information, the risk and the challenges of all 3 of those. And obviously there's the classification of life-minded women, right?
Yep.
We'll serve those. Obviously, we're going to support them, again, with diapers and whatever they need for 3 years. They can come back once a month, and they receive not only services like counseling and mentorship, education possibilities for basic life skills and so forth, but real practical, like diapers. The price is going up. Thank you, Joe Biden, right? In our box to bottom, we're going from the box of diapers to the bottom of the baby within 2 weeks. So we have a huge need for diapers. But the other ones are, the abortion vulnerable woman who's, I really want to have the baby. I just don't see how I can do it. Okay, we're going to walk them through what that could look like to actually have the baby and the resources that are available. The biggest challenge, right, are the ones that are abortion-minded or abortion-determined. But even then, we say to them, listen, you have to do 3 things. If you're going to choose an abortion, we hope you don't. But if you do, you have to verify your pregnancy. Okay, free pregnancy test. And then you also have to have an ultrasound to verify there's no complications. Hey, we'll do that. Why would you go to a place that's going to sell you abortion and have to pay them? It costs $800, right, to get an abortion, go through the whole process here in Southwest Florida. And then thirdly, you better check to see if you have an STI, because if you have an infection, that's going to cause complications no matter what you choose. So we're going to offer those 3 things, and then we're going to counsel them in each of those 3 areas to say, here's what the best decision is for you, is your choice. But we're going to be here to walk with you no matter what you choose, obviously hoping that they choose life. But this idea that, all this, abortion is industry. It's an industry, and it's based on revenue. Compassion is cost. So as you pointed out, supportcpci.com, there's cost to what we're doing. Our intentions are only to help women. To have Elizabeth Warren say that we want to harm women, again, it's not surprising, but it's dumbfounding.
Actually, that's what I'd love to wrap up with here. Again, on the line with us right now is Scott Baier. He's the CEO of Community Pregnancy Clinics. And if you are interested in supporting them, it's a 501c3. They depend on it. Support CPCI. Support CPCI.com. Scott, we started with Elizabeth Warren, essentially calling you evil, and calling anyone who might be pregnant essentially dumb, which is, to me, a very typical sort of leftist progressive mindset, which is someone like Elizabeth Warren clearly knows better than anyone else, and she can make decisions for everyone else. What do you see happening here Culturally, I don't, you're a C3. I'm not going to get into politics with you. I understand that you got guidelines there, but culturally, man, there is a backlash from a specific segment in this country right now that is coming at you. Have you felt that, and what do you expect?
Yeah, so I would say we have felt it. We're seeing an uptick on like harassment, in terms of online harassment and so forth. No, thank goodness, no physical threats, but we know over 40 clinics like ours have been attacked around the country. So what's happening is, again, it's not political, it's more faith-based in terms of the reality of spirituality here. This is a demonic frenzy, right? The radical elements, Planned Parenthood has not done a good job at the grassroots level. That's why you heard her refer to there's 3 to 1, 3 of our clinics compared to 1 of theirs. They were already having struggles. They can't find abortion doctors. There are very fewer people that want to actually take part in this process of abortion. So you have this demonic frenzy, as I call it, rising up because they realize they're outnumbered in terms of the clinics, but also the women who are understanding what's happening when they walk into one of their clinics, which is, coercion. It's the true. And they're accusing us of the same thing that they're doing, right? The coercion, the sense of limiting resources, and somehow we're not doing, serving the women. And it's not truth. It's not reality, because I'm seeing it every day here in our clinics and in clinics like ours around the country.
Scott, first of all, thank you for what you do. It really is. It's something that I had known about for years and learned about many years ago. And just as I heard this happening more and more often, I really wanted to reach out. I cannot thank you enough for your time today. Again, community pregnancy clinics, they're based here in Southwest Florida, and now they've expanded to other parts of Florida. You can go to communitypregnancyclinic.com. And if you are interested in supporting them, you go to supportcpci.com. Scott, thank you so much again for the work you do, and thank you for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Back at you. Appreciate you.
All right, I'm Trey Radel. This is The Drive. We will be right back.